Imagine, for a moment, that the world around you, the reality you see every day, is not as fixed and unchangeable as it appears. What if everything you perceive, every situation you face, every person you meet, is not just a series of random events, but the result of your inner world, your thoughts, your beliefs, and your imagination? Now, picture the possibility that you can shape this reality, not in some distant future, but right now, with the power that lies dormant within you. This is not a mere fantasy. This is the essence of Neville Goddard's teachings, the heart of the complete reader. Within the pages of this book lies the blueprint to unlock your untapped potential, a guide to understanding the power of the mind and the role that imagination plays in manifesting the life you desire. Neville Goddard, a name that resonates deeply within the realms of personal transformation and the law of attraction, presents a radical approach to reality creation. His teachings challenge everything you might have learned about how the world works. They invite you to question not only your own understanding of reality, but also the very structure of existence. Goddard's fundamental premise is deceptively simple: imagination creates reality. The idea that what you imagine in your mind can shape the world around you is not a passing thought or a hopeful wish. It is a powerful law of the universe. But this concept is not simply about wishful thinking or hoping for good things to happen. It's about actively, consciously, and intentionally shaping your experiences by harnessing the profound power of your inner world. In The Complete Reader, you'll discover Goddard's timeless wisdom distilled into a collection of his most influential works. Through his unique perspective, you'll learn how to control your own destiny, not through force or manipulation, but through a subtle yet profound mastery of your thoughts and feelings. Imagine the freedom of knowing that you are not a victim of circumstances, but the very creator of your life's story. What if you could step into a reality where your deepest desires are no longer distant dreams, but inevitable outcomes? What if the path to your goals, your desires, and your aspirations was not a matter of struggle or hard work, but of conscious creation? This is the world Neville Goddard invites you into, a world where you are the master of your own fate, the architect of your own experience. Through his teachings, you'll learn how to harness the incredible power of visualization, the art of living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and the profound understanding that reality is not something outside of you, but something that exists within you. You'll explore the idea that your outer world is a mirror, reflecting the inner workings of your mind. Your thoughts, your imagination, and your emotions are not mere fleeting whims, but the very building blocks of your reality. But Goddard doesn't just offer abstract concepts or vague philosophies. His work is a call to action. He doesn't just want you to believe that imagination creates reality. He wants you to experience it, to live it, to test it for yourself. Through the exercises and principles shared in The Complete Reader, you'll find practical ways to start reshaping your life immediately. Whether you're seeking financial abundance, love, health, or personal fulfillment, Goddard provides the tools to manifest what you desire through the creative power of your mind. In this book, you will delve into the depths of consciousness and explore the powerful connection between your inner thoughts and your external world. Neville Goddard teaches you that your thoughts are not passive. They are active forces, capable of reshaping the very fabric of your existence. The universe, he suggests, is not a random, indifferent entity, but a responsive, intelligent force that reacts to your thoughts, beliefs, and feelings. So, what's the secret to unlocking this power? It's simple: faith. Not blind faith, but a deep, unwavering belief in the power of your own imagination. Goddard emphasizes that you must live as though your desires have already been fulfilled. You must embody the feeling of success, of love, of health, of abundance, and allow that feeling to permeate every aspect of your being. As you align your thoughts and emotions with the reality you wish to experience, you activate the law of assumption, a core concept in Goddard's philosophy. But here's the twist: Goddard doesn't just offer a magical formula to manifest your dreams. He challenges you to transcend the limitations of your current beliefs and conditioning. He asks you to let go of the idea that life happens to you and instead Embrace the empowering notion that life happens through you. Your imagination is the tool through which you can break free from the chains of circumstance and design the life you've always imagined. As you immerse yourself in the complete reader, you'll also discover a wealth of profound insights on topics such as the nature of God, the power of prayer, the importance of mental discipline, and the mysteries of the subconscious mind. Goddard doesn't shy away from exploring deep spiritual concepts, offering a framework that bridges the gap between metaphysical teachings and practical living. One of the most striking aspects of Neville Goddard's work is its accessibility. His writing is clear, direct, and infused with a sense of urgency. He doesn't speak in riddles or abstract concepts. He speaks to you as though he is offering you a key to unlock a door that leads to a life of limitless possibilities. But perhaps the most powerful part of Goddard's teachings is his insistence that you are the creator of your reality. There are no outside forces controlling your destiny. No gods, no fate, no universal conspiracy, just you. You are the one with the power to change, to grow, to create. You are the master of your own experience, and through the practices in the complete reader, you will learn to harness this power with clarity and precision. As you explore the pages of this book, you'll find that Neville Goddard's words have the potential to change your life. They have the power to wake you up from the slumber of habitual thought and awaken you to a new level of awareness. They have the power to transform the way you see the world and the way you see yourself. They have the power to invite you into a new reality, one that is shaped by your thoughts, your imagination, and your unwavering belief in the power of creation. Are you ready to step into the life you've always dreamed of? Are you prepared to take control of your own reality? Neville Goddard, The Complete Reader, is more than just a book. It's a guide to living a life that is not just lived, but consciously created. So, open the pages. Dive into the teachings. Let the wisdom of Neville Goddard transform your understanding of reality. And, most importantly, begin to see yourself as the creator of your life, using the most powerful tool at your disposal, your imagination. Part 1. The Power of Imagination, the Key to Creating Your Reality. Imagine a world where everything you see, touch, and experience is the result of a single, limitless power, the power of your imagination. This is the world that Neville Goddard invites us to enter in Neville Goddard, The Complete Reader. His teachings, though rooted in mysticism, delve deeply into the concept of imagination as not just a tool for creativity, but as the actual force that shapes our reality. The imaginal act, a doorway to manifestation. In this first part of the book, Goddard introduces a simple yet profound idea that will echo through every page that follows. Imagination is God. To Goddard, everything in the universe, every object, event, and experience, begins as a mental image. The secret to transforming your life, he suggests, lies in your ability to control these images. It all starts with understanding that the external world is a reflection of our internal state. If we want to change our circumstances, we must first change the mental images we hold in our minds. Goddard's concept of the imaginal act is central to this philosophy. He explains that when we vividly imagine a desired outcome and feel the emotions associated with it, we are setting into motion the forces that will bring it to fruition in our physical world. But how does this work in practice? Goddard tells the story of a man who struggled with a health issue. Instead of relying on traditional methods, he began visualizing himself completely healed. He imagined the feeling of health and well-being, mentally rehearsing the sensation of being free from his ailment. Day by day, the image became more vivid and the feeling more real, until the man found that the physical symptoms had disappeared entirely. The body, Goddard argues, is subject to the power of the mind, and what we persistently imagine will eventually materialize. Faith and the law of assumption. One of the key tools that Goddard teaches for harnessing this power is the law of assumption. According to this law, you do not need to wait for the external world to change in order to manifest your desires. Instead, you must assume the feeling of your wish being fulfilled. This assumption is not a mere hope or wish, but a deep, unwavering conviction that your imagined reality is already true. The moment you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you set the universe in motion to bring it into being. Goddard uses a powerful example to illustrate this: a woman who desired a new job but struggled with rejection. Instead of seeking out opportunities or pleading for a job, she took a radical approach. She assumed she already had the job. She mentally placed herself in the role, imagined herself working in that position, and felt the emotions of success. Miraculously, the job she desired was offered to her within a short period, confirming the principle that assumption creates reality. The beauty of this law, as Goddard points out, is its simplicity. You don't need to struggle or fight against the world. You simply need to believe and assume the reality you desire. He cautions that doubt is the enemy of manifestation. When doubt enters, it undermines the mental image, delaying the process. Trust and faith in the power of your imagination are essential for success. Feeling is the secret. One of the most striking aspects of Goddard's teachings is his emphasis on feeling. Imagination, in Goddard's view, is not just about creating mental pictures. It is about immersing yourself fully in the feeling of your imagined state. He teaches that feeling is the secret because it is feeling that breathes life into the mental images. You must feel as though your desire is already accomplished, as though it is already real. This principle of feeling is not about tricking the mind. It's about aligning the mind and emotions with the desired outcome. It's a deep, intrinsic knowing that the world you imagine can and will materialize. Goddard encourages his readers to mentally live in the desired state for as long as they can, to saturate themselves with the feelings of success, love, and joy that accompany their goal. The power of revision. Another gem that Goddard shares with us is the practice of revision. Imagine you've had a difficult encounter with someone, or maybe you made a mistake at work. Instead of allowing these events to dictate your emotional state or define your future, Goddard teaches you to revise the event. Simply close your eyes, go back in time mentally, and revise the event as you wish it had happened. If you had an argument with someone, imagine the conversation ending in peace and understanding. If you made a mistake, mentally rewrite the scene to show a perfect outcome. Why does this work? Goddard argues that the subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. By revising the past, you're effectively changing the emotional imprint it left on your subconscious, allowing you to create a new future. Over time, this practice of revision reprograms the mind, reshaping not only the past but also the future. Living from the end. One of Goddard's most profound teachings is the principle of living from the end. This idea suggests that we should not live our lives as if we are constantly striving for something in the future. Instead, we must begin to act, feel, and think as though our desires have already been fulfilled. Imagine you've already achieved your goal, and now you are living in that reality. Living from the end is about embodying the mindset and emotional state of success, happiness, or wealth, even before you see it in the physical world. By assuming that your desires have already been realized, you begin to attract the circumstances and opportunities that will bring that imagined reality into existence. This concept aligns perfectly with the law of assumption, as it underscores the importance of experiencing the end result in your mind before it materializes in the physical world. Goddard further illustrates this idea with examples of individuals who have experienced dramatic transformations by simply changing their mindset. A man, for example, was in debt and struggling financially. Instead of focusing on his lack of money, he imagined himself already financially free. He lived from the end of financial abundance, and as a result, new opportunities and circumstances began to unfold, leading him to greater wealth. Unveiling the mystical power of imagination. Throughout Part 1, Goddard encourages readers to tap into their own innate powers of imagination, using them to create the life they want. He is unwavering in his belief that we are all creators of our own reality and that the world we experience is simply a reflection of the images and feelings we hold in our minds. In Goddard's view, imagination is not a passive tool to be used occasionally. It is the very fabric of reality itself. The imagination is the creator, the architect, the divine force that shapes every experience. And as we begin to use it consciously and intentionally, we unlock an extraordinary power to change everything around us. Part 2. The Law of Assumption, Living in the End of Your Desires. As we dive deeper into Neville Goddard, the complete reader, Part 2 unveils a core principle that shapes every aspect of our existence: the law of assumption. This law isn't just a theoretical concept or philosophical notion, it's the fundamental mechanism behind manifestation, according to Neville Goddard. Here, Goddard moves from simply understanding the power of imagination to applying it to real-life desires through assumption and feeling. The second part of this book begins to crystallize the idea that everything we experience is a direct result of our inner assumptions, making this one of the most profound teachings in Goddard's body of work. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. At the heart of the law of assumption is a very simple yet powerful instruction: assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This means that to manifest something, whether it's love, success, health, or financial abundance, you must first mentally live as though it has already come to pass. You must feel it, embody it, and know, deep in your being, that it is yours. You aren't waiting for the external world to change first. Instead, you change within, assuming that what you want has already materialized. It's the act of living as though you've already arrived at your desired outcome, which triggers the world to align with this inner belief. Goddard uses numerous real-life examples to illustrate this. One particularly powerful story is of a man who is struggling to find work. Rather than searching for a job or preparing for interviews in a conventional way, this man imagined himself already employed. He mentally constructed his ideal workday, how he'd feel in the office, the people he would interact with, and the sense of accomplishment that would fill him. He fully immersed himself in the assumption that he had already landed the job, and soon after, without any overt effort, an opportunity presented itself, aligning perfectly with his imagined reality. Goddard emphasizes that the external world responds only to the internal assumption. In other words, you must create your desired reality internally before it can manifest externally. The feeling of already being. The key to living from the end is the feeling of already being. This concept is vital in Goddard's philosophy. It's not enough to simply visualize your desired outcome. You must bring yourself emotionally and mentally into the experience as if it is already happening. You must assume the role, the success, the wealth, or the happiness you desire right now. Goddard's emphasis on feeling is not coincidental. He explains that feeling is the creative force that propels imagination into physical form. Without feeling, the image in your mind remains abstract and unformed. It's only when you feel the reality of your imagination in the present moment that you begin to activate the power of creation. This idea links back to the concept of mental rehearsal, a technique commonly used by athletes and performers. But Goddard takes it a step further, suggesting that mental rehearsal isn't just a practice for improving performance, it's the secret to creating your life's most profound changes. Imagine, for instance, that you are in debt and desire financial freedom. Rather than focusing on the current state of your finances, Goddard encourages you to feel the emotions of abundance and financial security. Imagine how it feels to pay your bills effortlessly, to make purchases without worry, and to experience the joy of financial freedom. This feeling of already being in a state of abundance becomes the driving force that creates the circumstances necessary to manifest your desire. Doubt and the subconscious mind. Doubt, Goddard warns, is a powerful hindrance to manifestation. If you assume that your desired state is already true, but hold an underlying doubt, that doubt will counteract the assumption and delay the manifestation. This is why the law of assumption requires not just a mental image, but absolute confidence and faith in the truth of that image. The subconscious mind plays a pivotal role here. It is constantly absorbing and accepting whatever we impress upon it. Goddard explains that our external reality is simply a mirror reflecting our subconscious beliefs. If we want to change our external world, we must begin by changing what we believe, and belief is built upon the assumptions we consciously choose to entertain. Goddard frequently emphasizes that the subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what is imagined vividly and what is real. Therefore, when you assume that a particular outcome is true and you feel the emotions associated with that outcome, your subconscious accepts it as reality. Over time, this belief transforms into actions, events, and circumstances that reflect the imagined reality. The power of persisting in assumption. In Part 2, Goddard stresses the importance of persistence in the law of assumption. It's not enough to assume once or twice and expect immediate results. In fact, most people give up too soon, thinking that their assumptions haven't worked. The key, however, is to persist. Consistency is what turns the mental assumption into physical reality. The more you assume the end result, the more your subconscious begins to align with your conscious desires, and the more the universe begins to conspire in your favor. To illustrate this, Goddard recounts the story of a woman who, despite her past failures and the apparent reality of her situation, continued to assume that she would succeed. She didn't let the lack of immediate evidence deter her. She remained steadfast in her assumption that her dream was already a reality. Eventually, through this persistence, circumstances began to shift, and the woman found herself living the life she had imagined. Living from the end in all areas of life. The principle of living from the end isn't restricted to just career goals or material desires. It can be applied to any area of life, including relationships, health, and personal growth. Whatever you wish to manifest, begin by assuming that it is already true. If you desire to be in a loving relationship, feel the love, companionship, and connection as though it already exists. If you want to experience vibrant health, assume the feeling of perfect health in your body. Goddard's teachings make it clear that there is no area of life that cannot be influenced by this technique. One of the more extraordinary aspects of Goddard's teachings is how they blend the mystical with the practical. He asks his readers to engage with the metaphysical as though it is tangible, as though the unseen world of imagination is just as real, if not more so, than the physical one. The act of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is a bridge between the two worlds. It requires not only faith but a willingness to accept the unseen as the real. Self-imagining and the power of revision. A fascinating technique that Goddard explores in this section is self-imagining. This is the act of seeing yourself in the role you wish to play, of imagining yourself as the person who already possesses what you desire. This is closely related to the concept of identity. If you want to be wealthy, begin imagining yourself as someone who is already wealthy. If you want to be loved, imagine yourself as someone who is already loved and cherished. This exercise is more than just a mental trick. It is a fundamental shift in how you see yourself. Another method Goddard introduces is revision, which we first encountered in Part 1. This technique allows you to go back into your past and reimagine events that you wish had unfolded differently. It's an incredibly powerful tool for healing and changing past experiences, because the subconscious mind accepts these revisions as real. By changing the emotional imprint of a past event, you create a new reality where that event no longer holds power over you. The secret to immediate change, the power of imagination and assumption. At the close of Part 2, Goddard leaves his readers with a profound realization: change is immediate. It happens the moment you begin to assume your desired state. The process of manifestation isn't something that takes time to unfold. Rather, the moment you make the assumption and feel the reality of your desire, the change is set in motion. The physical world may take time to catch up, but internally, you are already living in the end. Part 3. Mastering Imagination and Creating Realities from the Mind. As we move into Part 3 of Neville Goddard, The Complete Reader, we enter the transformative world of imagination, a concept that Neville views as not just an abstract faculty, but as the very engine of creation. The deeper we explore his teachings, the more clear it becomes that the imagination is the gateway through which everything we experience in our lives is born. The ideas Neville shares in this section are not just about achieving personal desires, but about understanding and tapping into the true nature of reality itself. In Goddard's world, imagination isn't just something we use passively, it is the active force that shapes the world around us. The power of imagination, more than just visualization. In this part of the book, Neville takes the reader even deeper into the practical use of imagination. He emphasizes that imagination is not just about daydreaming or creating mental images, it's about using those images as tools for transformation. Goddard argues that your imagination is the most powerful faculty you have because it has the capacity to shape the course of your life, redefine your identity, and even alter your present reality. The crucial distinction that Goddard makes here is between passive imagination and active imagination. Passive imagination involves mere daydreaming or thinking about desires without a real commitment to making them a lived experience. In contrast, active imagination is purposeful, deliberate, and charged with the emotional intensity of already having received what you wish for. This is where imagination transitions from being a random mental process to a conscious, deliberate force of creation. For Neville, the imagination is a tool for living from the end. When you actively engage with your imagination, you're not just creating a wishful vision in your mind, you're inhabiting the end result as though it is already real. This practice requires total mental immersion, such that you experience the desired reality with all your senses, emotions, and beliefs. It's more than seeing, it's feeling it as already done. Living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. One of the more profound teachings of Neville in Part 3 is his insistence on the feeling tone of any assumption. Feeling is the secret, as he repeatedly states. Your emotional state is what sends out the signal to the universe that your assumption is real. While we often associate imagination with the mental act of visualization, Neville reveals that the feeling you imbue your imagination with is the key to its manifestation. This emotional engagement with imagination turns it into a living experience, not just a mental exercise. Imagine yourself in a situation where your deepest desires have already been fulfilled, whether it's a promotion, a new home, a successful business venture, or harmonious relationships. You must live as though these desires are a current reality, fully inhabiting the emotions, sensations, and thoughts that would accompany the fulfillment of those desires. To illustrate, Neville tells a story of a man who desired financial security. Instead of wishing for money or simply imagining wealth, the man focused on the feeling of already being wealthy. He mentally constructed a vivid scenario where he already had the resources to travel freely, donate generously, and live without financial worry. This feeling of already being wealthy generated a shift in his thoughts, actions, and ultimately his circumstances, bringing opportunities to him that led to the manifestation of financial freedom. Goddard's teachings here point to a powerful realization. When you focus on feeling rather than just seeing, you activate the creative process. You don't just wait for the world to change, you feel the change already happening in your life. Thanks for listening. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new video updates. Happy learning!